100% fake free. This is the Robbie Kruse show and we're live from my garage. And famous people are going to sit right there. Nice. 90% of all single-use plastic goes to landfill or ends up in our oceans. Unsmother nature. Let her breathe. Welcome to episode 8 of the Robbie Kruse show. It's great to have you watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it'd be fantastic if you do, because like we've mentioned, we like celebrating the small victories, and every single subscriber is a small victory for us, so we appreciate it. And what we're doing is fun, and the people that we've had on here have been fun. Today's guest is just as fun. He's a legend. He's down from Cape Town. You might know him in the areas of Stellenbosch and so on. He's a 3-time international winemaker winner, best winemaker. I'm going to get that right now. Abrie, Beeslaar, welcome sir from Kanonkop. It's great to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, lovely. So you're from Stellenbosch, born and bred, or not?
No, I come from a town close by called Worcester.
Oh,
so just across the mountain from Stellenbosch. So grew up in winelands, if you can call it that. And yeah, I never thought of becoming a winemaker. You know, I wanted to study medicine. You know, in Worcester, so you either become a doctor or a policeman or something like that.
That's it. Yeah, you become a standard job.
5 or 6 type of jobs. You know? So when I went to Stellenbosch, I was thinking of becoming a doctor, and they said, "No, you're too stupid. You're not going to get into."
I got that as well. I'm glad I'm not the only one. But it's not an avenue that you should explore.
Yeah. So they said, "No, you study BSc agriculture for a year, and then you can always reapply." And within that year, I realized there's something like winemaking. You know, always enjoyed wine, even from our school days. You know, that was our go-to beverage. Mm-hmm. And so then I heard, listen, you can make wine and you can get paid for it. And, you know,
what kind of a job is this?
And you have always have wine in your house. So fantastic.
It's a great. Where did that eventual? I mean, I said the love of wine. Let's rather start with that. Where did the love of wine come from?
Yeah, so at home, my parents, always didn't drink much, but on Sundays they'd have a glass of wine. And so we were exposed, with friends at school, we being wine farmers, so was exposed to it. But I wouldn't say my love really started there. I think at Stellenbosch, sitting in class one day doing wine tasting. So in our class, you get wines to taste for
that sounds fantastic.
For studies.
Yeah,
and,
during class.
Yeah, and so you tasted the wine and then I could describe this wine, in a very different way than some of my classmates could. And I think that was like a little bit of a light bulb moment where I thought, listen, okay, but this is something I'm enjoying and hopefully will be good at. But yeah, so that was probably the first time I realized that there's perhaps a closer connection with wine.
And then, I mean, growing up over there in Worcester, like, how was it? Was it fun?
It's a fantastic place. I think people always drive through or past Worcester.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's no reason really to stop there.
Yeah, it's close enough to Cape Town. You just filled up your car. You don't really have to stop there.
Yeah.
And people always think of this little dusty place, but it was a fantastic town. We were just far enough from Cape Town that you couldn't just pop in there every now and then. So we really had a small town type of feel and atmosphere in Worcester. And so we had to be creative also with stuff that we did. It is being naughty was different from we couldn't go to clubs and stuff like the guys in Cape Town. So we created our own fun and So I think fantastic people growing up in a very still protected environment. But yeah, still today, we have my best friends are the guys I grew up with. So. It still says a lot. Yeah.
No, definitely does. So it's more plaasleven, right?
Yeah, platteland.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And the wine industry at the moment, how's it going? How's things going for us?
I think everybody knows about the lockdowns that we had and the restrictions on sales. We're busy on a lot of different levels. Still trying to get some answers out of government, and there's a couple of court cases still going on. But yeah, I think a lot of wineries really took a hard knock. You know, if you lose like 20 or 30% of time to sell wine, that's actually your income for the year. Yeah, so there's
a big knock there.
A big knock. There's a lot of guys really struggling. But yeah, it also depends on what your structure looked like before lockdown. If you were strong in the retail, I think you was relatively okay. But if you were strong in the on-trade, selling wines in restaurants, you know, those guys are feeling it even worse. And then, you know, if you had a lot of people, tourists coming to your winery in the cellar, there's nobody, you know, there's very little, it's only local people coming by.
And there's also not a lot, I mean, because I mean, locally the money is also just that much.
Absolutely, and people are dining at home, they are, you know, going to supermarkets, buying their wine and still staying relatively at home. So, but yeah, I think our brand, or brands we are quite happy with. It's, you know, the stronger brands do survive these type of challenges better than, you know, lesser known brands. So some of the bigger retailers would have cut by, you know, their SKUs by 30% because, you know, they want to be a bit more conservative and focused as well. So all in all, challenging times in our industry, but we just came out of Harvest 2021, which was fantastic. That also means that we have to recover relatively quickly out of this. So take your knock, you know, even if you have to sell wine at a lesser price, but, you know, bounce back for the next harvest. And that's how our industry has always been. So it's a fantastic industry to be in. You can just imagine, you know, being paid to make wine, drink wine, talk about wine, you know.
Other people that drink wine, make them happy.
Absolutely, you know,
give them an experience.
Yeah, people are always happy to see you, and you know, yes, yeah, we've been waiting for you. So
it makes job satisfaction great, and also working with people.
Yeah, I think when I studied winemaking, you only realize that, you know, you're into marketing, you're into the natural side, which is, you know, the making of the wine, or the science side, which also for me I really enjoy. But there's a bit of finance, there's a bit of traveling, you know, there's a lot of different things that's you know, encapsulated in winemaking, which is really, I think, a very satisfying part of my job.
So you got some good advice for all South Africans out there about wine, how we're going to restore.
Yeah, so, you know, I think for all South Africans, we have a responsibility, you know, we are living in a country where we have to look after each other, and, you know, in our wine industry, we employ a lot of people, much more than other liquor industries or booze industries. So, but the wine industry really employ a lot of people,
and it's intensive as well.
Very intensive, absolutely, very intensive. And yeah, so my request is just to go out and, you know, just change your drinking habits for a couple of months. You know, go and buy wine, and, you know, if you're too shy or you feel intimidated by the product, don't. You know, this is it's just another product that you can learn about and can experience. I think a lot of people feel intimidated when it comes to wine, you know.
Yeah, but you do. You walk down that aisle and it's kind of like, oh, what are you looking for? So,
yeah.
I don't know. It must be wine. Tastes good. To be slightly more expensive, you know.
Yeah. So you know, it's a lot of people that can help with that. You know, if you don't find anybody, phone me or contact me. I'll tell you what to drink. And yeah, just go out and for the next couple of months support the industry. You know, when we look at how the Save SA Wine campaign that was run overseas, how that have helped our industry, and most of our companies, wineries, the exports have really grown in this time, and yeah, so it's really helped us. If there's a bit more focus on the industry, people really try to help, and we can see that and we can feel it. So we're very thankful for that.
I like that. So you've been told, go and buy more wine, drink some wine. A glass of wine a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, and you're much
happier.
happier.
I can't back that up. There's no medical facts on this show whatsoever. Sorry. None of us became doctors. You're actually winemaker, shit talker. There we go. So.
Wine doctor. But it's...
Here we go, wine doctor.
Yeah. No, you always feel happier when you had a glass of wine. You know,
100%.
It's just very simple science.
And it's just a grape that's been fermented. It's meant to be. If it grows naturally, surely it has to be.
You know, it's when they ask, you know, who made the first wine, you know, very few people know, but it was actually Noah. In the Bible, it says Noah made the first wine. So, you know, if it's in the Bible, it can't be wrong. So
you could sail a boat after a few glasses. So
yeah,
there you go, boom.
Yeah, so he was
joking. We don't promote drinking and driving in any way whatsoever as well.
Floating.
Don't want to or drinking and floating. We don't want to step on any toes. But I just want to say, if you do get the chance to have some of this man's wine, it's incredible. His wine introduced me to good red wine. It's Beeslaar wine that you made, and it was probably about 8 years ago for the first time that I had it. That's still going. It's still
it's still going strong. So I'm still working with Kanonkop, and it's now becoming quite a big business. We're doing about 3 million bottles of that. And then I also started with my own brand, Beeslaar, in 2012. And that's also grown very nicely. So that's a side project and focusing specifically on pinotage at this point, to also showcase a different type of styles of pinotage. For me, the beauty of working with different vineyards is, for instance, on Kanonkop you have these decomposed granite soils that will give you a certain style of pinotage. And in 2012, when I started the Beeslaar, this was grown on shale soils. So you have the masculine, more darker fruit, more structure that you find on the decomposed granites, and then the more perfume, feminine expression of pinotage you'll find on the shale soils. And for me, that was one of the drives to start Beeslaar, is to show the different faces of pinotage, and which is again for me the right way to make wine is from the soil upwards. Yeah. Not from the boardroom downwards. A lot of time people will sit around and say, we want to make a wine like that, and then they start to try to make it from their grapes, where we believe the vineyard must show itself first, and then we develop wine around that.
So if you, with wine, the wine industry, what kind of footprint do you guys have against the environment? Or, what are you guys doing as a whole?
Yeah, I think the wineries through the world that really, try to be as green or friendly as possible, they don't really market it. They just do it because they believe it's right. And that's what we try to do. We talk about, we try to be sustainable. We want to leave our property in a better condition than we found it. And for us, that is, I think, a very important part of looking at it, and that means we've already installed solar panels on all the roofs on the property, so that's running. Most of our electricity is running from that. We are, the way that we use water in the winery has changed. We also collect all the water that runs through the winery, the effluent, and collect in a dam and use that for irrigation again. And then we also do, in the vineyard itself, we will use natural predators. You buy them in little boxes, the eggs, and you hang it in the vineyards. So in the vineyards we will use wasps that you buy the little eggs in match boxes, and you hang it out, and as soon as sunlight hits the box, the egg starts to hatch, and these wasps will fly around the vineyards, and they will lay their eggs in the mealybugs. That's that we don't want. So we don't need to spray for the mealybugs any longer. The wasps actually control it. And then we also do a lot of cover crops. That means planting of different types of grains between the vineyards, and that actually helps to prevent the weeds and stuff coming up. So again, we don't have to use
natural
herbicides to spray the weeds. We just use cover crops to grow on the ground and so try to push out all the weeds. So a lot of stuff happening, and already you're working with a plant that absorbs carbon out of the air. So again, it's a very friendly environment by itself. But yeah, we're really trying to be sustainable and be as friendly as possible. We use natural corks. When you go to Portugal and you see these cork plantations, if you harvest a cork tree, and they can only harvest them every 9 years, that tree will use 10 times more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere than an unharvested cork tree. So by using corks, we ensure that these cork trees keep on being harvested, and so also helping.
So that helps to give back as well.
Yeah. So, we're trying to be very natural and friendly.
But I mean, calling it organic, that we were speaking about it a minute ago, or actually off air, but that it costs more. Your carbon footprint's almost bigger then because of the pesticides you're spraying. You're doing this, you're doing that.
I think for people buying wine, they want to feel that they are also contributing.
Part of something.
So yes. People are selling wine, and a lot of it's quite rigorous certification systems, but to put organic on sometimes doesn't mean that this is a friendlier wine. You know, most of these guys are really trying hard, but it doesn't mean it's friendlier than sustainable. So the big guys in the world don't really use organics or biodynamics as a marketing tool. They just do it because it's right. And I think that's the right approach. We must be proactive in what we do, not because we want to use it to sell more
Embrace
anything. We must do it because it's right. And then you do a lot of other things, you know, that the certification boards don't prescribe to you, which I find.
And then it just naturally becomes, 100%. So then, if I just started off drinking wine, if I've taken nothing from what you've said, what's a good wine to start with for an amateur? Because everybody starts somewhere.
There's a lot of beautiful wines out there from all over South Africa. So first it must be South African.
Okay. Buy local. Yes.
And if you want to buy white wine, I will recommend the Chenin Blanc, which is a relatively easy drinking white wine.
There's our delivery. Thanks. The wine's just arrived.
So we don't have to, and it doesn't have a very high acidity. So normally the acid can be quite.
Sauvignon Blanc is a bit more acidic. Right?
Sauvignon Blanc,
so don't go for that if someone tells you.
It's nice to smell because there's beautiful bouquet, but Chenin is softer on the palate, and also the next morning, you know, it doesn't feel so tough. And then when it comes to red wine, I would always recommend Pinotage, because it's almost have this inherent sweetness to the palate. It's not sugar; it's a fruit sweetness that you experience, but it's much softer and rounder than, for instance, a Cabernet. You know, that stuff that makes your cheeks pull. You know, that's the tannins. And Pinotage doesn't have the same tannins as Cabernet. So
Softer.
Much softer, easier drinking. Although it can be a big structured wine, it's still softer and more approachable. You know, also very, very versatile when it comes to pairing with food. And that's the other thing people, you know, a bit scared of. Pinotage can pair from fish to oxtail. You know, it's a really versatile variety. And my best food and wine experience I've ever had was where a chef prepared deep fried squid heads and wasabi and served that with a Pinotage. So I thought the guy was crazy.
Like how it would fit, you know.
Yeah, but when I tasted it, it was just an unbelievable experience.
No, we'd love to come and check out the farm sometime. We'd love to bring the Robbie Kruse van down there. Maybe come have some drinks with some of the people. Some of the people in Stellenbosch will be lovely. But Abrie, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it. And all the best for what you guys do. Beeslaar, that's the Pinotage that he makes. It's an incredible wine. A 3-time international winemaker winner. That's right. I think it's eventually going to try it. But thank you very much for watching. We really appreciate it. That's episode 8. Next up is the I'm Not Plastic segment on the Robbie Kruse Show. Please go follow us. Go subscribe. Buy Beeslaar wine. That's also what you got to do. Thank you very much to Abrie from Kanonkop for coming in. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Abrie Beeslaar and I'm not plastic.
Hi, I'm Stacey from Michaela and Friends, and I'm not plastic.
Please welcome an entrepreneur from Joburg South, Stacey. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
What are you guys all about? Clan Toys. Tell me, where did it all begin for you?
So the idea began when I was watching a plastic documentary, and I was very concerned about an interview that they did with a mother in America, and she said that she was really struggling to find eco-friendly products for her child. Her baby that was about 1 year old. And as a researcher, that's the industry I'm in, I did some research and I actually found out there were a lot of products globally that were being made that are chemical free, plastic free, not harmful to the environment, not harmful
how it should be
to the kids, the babies. And I thought, well, why is no one doing this? And in South Africa, I've only found 3 or 4 companies that have followed this model. And I decided that this is what I want my future for my kids to look like. So why don't I introduce this to others? So we partner with companies, international and local. So we also have Proudly South African. It's not just wooden products. We also have natural rubber toys, rubber teethers. We have silicone products.
All natural products.
All natural, no chemicals, water-based dyes, vegetable staining. So you can put that in your baby's mouth, nothing will happen, no long-term effects. And I feel like that's the future. And while we're doing that, we're saving the ocean. I really dislike all the plastic products in baby world.
Yeah.
You walk into a baby store and it's just 80-90% plastic.
And that toy, I mean, they say it's not a single-use plastic, but I mean, you break that toy and it goes straight into the ocean.
Exactly.
It goes,
And you can only pass that toy down for so many generations, and it's still going to end up
100%.
where we don't want it.
Mm.
So I'm all about, can it decompose? Can it affect the baby in any way? Because we want sensitive skins. Interesting enough, babies have developed a lot of allergies, and I won't say it's directly related to this, but it's a combination of the kind of environment that we've introduced them to. So if we can create a very soft and natural, they should no longer get these like skin allergies when they are babies. And I think moms just don't know. So our mission is awareness, to create awareness about what these products, their benefits, how this can impact long term, not just now. And price-wise, surprisingly enough, they're not more expensive.
So it's not a train smash to make.
No.
It's not a massive business model to get that going.
People think plastic cheap, that's why I'm going to go for it. Yes, to a certain degree, if you buy a dummy that's eco-friendly, it will be naturally a bit more expensive if it's eco-friendly, and a plastic one will be cheaper. But is that the degree of health that you want to expose to your child? Why not pay the extra 50, 100 rand and get something that you know is going to be better for them?
Like, we need more warriors like you. So between what ages do you make toys for? How does it work? Is it for only for babies? Is it for kids?
So I have 3 categories. We cater for 0 to 4-year-olds at the moment. And what I'm constantly doing is expanding the range. So I started with toys because they were the easiest to find.
And then you research. So that's what you
Yes.
use your background
Yes,
for.
and I now have like bamboo blankets. I eventually will have dummies, glass bottles, hopefully.
Oh, wow.
Like we really want to expand. Clothing seems to be a very big thing at the moment. All natural clothing has been around for a long time.
You'll be surprised how many babies will pick up a rash, or like kids will pick up a rash from wearing a t-shirt.
And if you think about all the synthetic fibers, that's why. They've actually got plastic sewn into the fabric.
Micro.
And parents just don't know, oh, I'm buying a cheap pair of clothing, but what they don't know is what is that clothing made of? And why is my baby getting a rash? Oh, doctor, give me some medicine. But it's actually just the clothing that you are making them
100%.
wear.
So Echo Ella, that's where we follow you on social media. Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Facebook? How does the whole vibe work? What do you do?
I have Instagram, Facebook, Eco Ella and Friends. We have a website, so that's where you can purchase our products. That's it.
ecoella.co.za, is that where it's at?
ecoella.co.za.
Okay, cool. So there you have it, all right? Is there anything else that you want to drop in while we have you on the show? Anything important? Any message of motivation?
I love what you guys do.
Lovely.
When I came across your page, I was like, yes, someone else who's on the team.
There you go. Well, fellow Greenie, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Nice to have you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, and we look forward to collaborating with you in any which way. But yeah, if you are a parent, if you've got some kids at home, this is the safer option. This is a better option. And also support local in everything you do. Don't buy any foreign products, buy local products, because that's how it should work. Don't be plastic. Okay.
Play a bit of design.
Play a bit of it.
For all ages.
Playing us out for all ages, including fathers.